Juan O Savin joining us again to reveal what's coming arrest, preemptive military moving into big cities, nuclear standoff like we're talking about. What's mainly on your mind right now, Juan?
It's almost like it's a free-for-all to kill white and anybody that's working with them or assisting them. So they literally are living in some type of armed camp, trying to hold on to these farms and ranches that have been in their families literally for hundreds of years. All eyes are on the U.S. and President Trump. And they are praying, wishing, hoping that we could come in and help them against this group that has hijacked their country.
Trump is looking at maybe 40,000 South Africans coming to America, bring them here.
The figure of 21,000 was used just in the last few months of people that have moved to predominantly the United States, but a lot of them to the Caribbean and to Europe to escape what's happening here, what's coming. So you have about 7% of the country paying 90+% of the taxes, a little over 0.5% of the total population of South Africa paying the taxes to the 95th percentile.
Over the years, I've worked with a lot of South Africans, trackers and breachers and explosive breaching, so forth. Outstanding people. So bringing those very gifted people that are basically producing 90% of the income tax for South Africa to the United States would be magnificent.
They've had almost 1,890,000 people already vote on whether or not they should leave the rest of the country and go off on their own. A good example is Goodyear Tire, who has a large facility here in South Africa. They just recently decided to just give up and go away, walk away from hundreds of millions of dollars worth of infrastructure, property, investments like that, and just go away.
All the way back to Nelson Mandela. There's a lot of people talk about this. That was basically a captured operation. It wasn't about overcoming apartheid. It was basically the opposite. Blacks claim that the whites were mistreating them, but now the blacks are mistreating the whites.
When do you finally say enough is enough and stand and fight and stop? And what does fight look like? They don't want to do it with lead. They want to do it with some kind of a pushback on the central government. They're a nuclear power. South Africa of 25 years ago was widely acknowledged as having 5 nuclear bombs. Their scientists told him that they were missing about 200 of these demolition nukes out of an inventory of about 360. He had offered these things to Iran for different technical, legal, military reasons. And they've legislated essentially people out of their houses and homes and just taxed them to death to steal it all.
But the election unintegrity was huge in that time frame, and it looks like it's something that needs to be fixed around the world. So we've talked about how military, and Juan has talked about it's going to be up to the military. And we're starting to see that happening now in DC. We've seen it in LA. We see it along the border. They're slowly starting to move in and start to occupy these cities. There'll probably be other ones they're going to go into. In New Mexico, they're having problems there. The governor there is talking about drug problem situation she's got going on there. It seems to be coming to a head pretty quick. I think in the fall, we'll start to see some activity